Welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk about this concept of mental friction. I did a quick search and I couldn't find any videos on it, so I think it's going to be a pretty good video. Friction in the context of mental friction, right? Because when you do a search on friction, you find all this stuff about friction in physics, is reducing the time or energy required for you to do a specific thing that you would want to do. So when you reduce that, you reduce friction. When you increase the time or energy, you're increasing friction. Say, let's take a gym example. You have a gym that's 1 minute walk down the street. You have another gym that's 30 minutes down the road. You've never been to the gym before. Your friction is going to be higher if you're going to the 30-minute gym. Why? Because you have to get up, you have to get ready, you have to put regular clothes on. If it's wintertime, you have to put winter clothes on. You got to make sure your car is gassed up. You have to make sure you have a car or you know what the bus schedule is. You got to plan out 30 minutes travel there, 30 minutes travel back. You got to factor in the traffic. That's a lot of friction versus you getting up and walking to the gym across the street. Or if you have one in your house or in your unit or somewhere close by, you've got weights like literally in your room or in your living space. That's reducing the friction. You're basically reducing the time or energy required to do the specific habit. So a good example for me in this particular case was reducing the friction as far as recording these YouTube videos. So if you notice, now of course I'm going to upgrade my mic, but when I started recording the videos, I've recorded about 93 videos to date, and I've been recording one video every single day, and I've been using the same setup. Now, if I told myself, oh, I need the Sony DSLR XYZ camera, I need the Shure DX, whatever, whatever, I need this thing here, I got to make sure the modifications, I need a little iPad, I need some controls, I need this, then nothing would have gotten done. So when you're first trying to do something, before you establish the habit, because once you make it a habit, then you can kind of add complexity to the equation, right? You can add things that are a little bit more difficult. You can add more things that are more complicated to the activity because you've already established that habit or that routine for you to do it consistently. But friction is especially important if you haven't established a habit or routine around a specific thing that you want to establish, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's eating healthy, whether it's doing something associated with your business, whether it's anything that you want to be doing, right? You want to reduce the amount of time or energy it takes you to engage with that thing. A lot of marathon runners do this too, right? They set things up from the night before. They have their shoes by the door. Same with me, right? I have my books open, journal open. I have specific windows open on my computer, so I have things already set up. So that way, when I start working in the morning, everything is already there. I don't really have to think about anything, right? Even the thinking is a form of friction, right? Because you're thinking, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Versus you just literally pull up. Say, for example, you click on your calendar. Let's say you have a tab open, and that's going to be your calendar, and you shut your computer down. You wake up the next morning, and as soon as you get to work, as you open your computer, the page pops up and you're like, boom, calendar's right there. And today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. I've already got it planned out, right? That's an example of reducing friction because you know exactly what you should be doing, what you want to be doing. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, if you're not doing it, then do you really want to be doing it? This goes back to the video that I recorded about okay, what is it that you actually want, and what it is that you say that you want, or maybe two different things, right? One may be superficial, or one may be establishing a certain set of needs currently, and those certain set of needs are being established to a degree, to a greater degree than the needs that would be established had you done something else. So you feel more comfortable where you currently are, so you're not doing anything else. So if you actually want to be doing that thing, like let's say, for example, you say, I know I need to get in shape, or I need to make money. And what you have to do is reduce the steps that are required for you to initiate, to make that first move. In fact, everybody falls into this trap. I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine this morning, and as he was telling me specifically, because sometimes we need to hear the same things in different ways until we kind of finally learn the lesson. And I was basically explaining to him why some specific method would not necessarily work for my situation for XYZ reason. And as I was talking, I stopped myself and I said, but it does sound like I'm overanalyzing, and I'll get into analysis paralysis. because I caught myself making excuses or justifications for why I was not doing the thing. So your own thoughts will create friction because you're saying, okay, I need to do things in a specific way. Why? Why can't you do them in a different way? That will make it a lot easier for you. Why can't you just say, for example, do 10 push-ups every morning for a week, and the next week do 20 push-ups every morning, the next week do 30 push-ups, right? And then you add like, 10 squats as an example. Let's say you don't have any money for the gym, right? Or the gyms are too far away, right? Reduce the friction. So do the next easiest thing. And once you establish the habit, then you can kind of increase complexity from there because you get the benefits of two things. Not only learning from the actions that you're taking, whatever those actions are, and also growing from those actions. Like even say, for example, growing your body, right? Or improving your health if you're eating healthy food. But you're also building momentum in that direction. And you're also able to scale up because what happens when you scale up a business? Well, you got to launch it first, right? You can't scale something you haven't launched. So you're basically starting the activities and then you can scale up once you start them. You can't scale something if you're not consistent. Like let's say, for example, you start a business and you work on it for like a couple of days and then you stop, go back down to zero. A couple of days, you stop, go back down to zero, right? So you don't want to get into the habit of doing things sporadically, especially good things that you know you should be doing on a regular basis. So make sure that you're reducing the friction. And another good example here is eating healthy, right? Like if you want to eat healthy, make sure that I mean, a tactic that I used to use is I used to go to the grocery store and shop for only like 1 or 2 days, right? And then after the second day, my fridge would be empty. So I'd be forced to go back to the store and buy fresh food so I can cook. But now it's a weekly basis. Other people they shop for a much longer period of time. But say for example, if you're one of these people that have difficulty getting out of the house and you have a grocery store nearby, you might want to consider you find like you give yourself a reason to go out for a walk and get some sun, maybe talk to somebody, like get out of your shell, uh, just so you can do something that's healthy. And that way, once you do it, you have more incentive to do it again. Because in the particular food example, you're out of food, so you need to eat, and also and also you're so not only are you going to get the healthy food, but you're also doing a lot of other things, good things along the way. You're going for a walk, getting some sun, talking to people, like I mentioned before, fresh air, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll notice that you start to build action taking momentum by doing things on a regular basis, even if they're simple, even if they don't require a lot from you. So you have to give yourself credit as you do things. And then once you establish the process, once you establish the habit, then what you can do is start to add layers on top of it to to build to build the foundation that you've built. So that's basically the video. And then one final point that I should mention here as well is that you want to give yourself clarity, right? This thing that you say that you want to do you actually want to do it or not, right? So it's got to be a clear yes or no, because if it is a yes, then you've determined that that is the answer. And so you must reduce the time and energy required for you to engage with that thing. Reduce the time or energy, right? Don't add so many layers. You can't increase the amount of time that you're spending doing something before you get to doing the thing, or spending time thinking, or spending energy, right? Because once you do that, by the time you get to doing the thing, you're going to have less time, you're going to have less energy, you're going to be less motivated and less likely to pursue it again in the future, right? So again, you have to consider the cascading effects from both sides, whether you do it or whether you don't. Cascading effects. So get clear. Do you want to be doing it or not? If it's a no, it's a no. That's fine. Move on to the next thing. This is something that they teach you in sales all the time with the prospect. You want clarity. You don't want, I'm going to think about it, or I'll get back to you. You don't want these types of answers, right? You want a very clear answer. You want to be able to like handle all of the objections, typically before the close, right? That's the ideal scenario where you're handling all the objections before the close. And you're going to close some people, you're going to lose some people. But the people that you lose in general, you want to clear yes or no. But also, you don't want to burn the bridges. You don't want to be too salesy at the end, because you also want to be able to keep people in your follow-up pipeline. That's more of like a sales conversation. But the point is, in general, with your life, with yourself, with other people, you want clarity, right? If somebody tells you something, you don't know what they mean, you'll ask them, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? So am I understanding? So is this what you're trying to say? You'll say that to people because you want clarity. So even from yourself, from what you want from yourself, you want clarity, right? So if the answer is a yes, then do everything that you can to reduce friction. You set things up in such a way where it's going to be easy for you to do the thing. And once you establish yourself doing the thing, then you can add complexity, then you could add layers, then you have a foundation, then your life improves exponentially. So hope that was a helpful video. If you have any comments, make sure you leave them down below. If you have a question, if you disagreed with me on something, if you want me to cover something in a different video, if you like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel as well, and also subscribe to my newsletter because I'm publishing articles there too. So hope that was helpful. And until next time, I will see you all soon.